Hi and welcome back. I'm Caroline Best of the Tao of Horsemanship. This is Everything Horses and More YouTube channel and video library. And today we are continuing our series on the Beginner Rider series with the emergency stop techniques. In our previous videos for the series about the common mistakes beginner riders make, I explained everything. So everything's been a building block. Each video is a building block for the next as a rider. And so we've already gone through where the rider's legs should be, your foot should be, your seat, your body, your hands, your rein aids, contact, and how all of this is so important to riding with balance, fluidity, confidence, and feeling secure. We finally made it to the mounting block, got on our horse, and then we went through all of our pre-flight. We've covered how and why to use the whip, worked on our go buttons, moving forward, staying forward, and we've also been learning about our quiet yet powerful aids, such as our focus and breathing, and how important that is to continuing to move forward. In the previous videos, we were working on how to ask our horse to stop with our light aids, and that's how we're leading up to the emergency stop technique. So the most important thing I want to emphasize in this video, especially in the way I develop you, I develop your horse, is getting the mindset. So while I'm going to be going over two specific techniques, one's going to be the bend to a stop, which most people are very aware of. However, it is very dangerous if your horse takes off in a bolt. And first of all, most people don't even think about it because you're just paralyzed with fear. So you completely check out and freeze. But if your horse takes off at a bolt, I've bent many a bolting horse in the past and they're still running sideways. Not to mention, if you bend them too quickly, you can flip them over. And so there's a lot of factors to consider when we are teaching our horse to bend and using the bend to an emergency stop. Specifically, I'm only going to use that at a walk when I feel my horse picking up momentum and, not just thinking about it, but actually, getting ready to go. Then yes, the bend is excellent. And even at the trot. But you still have to be careful. Any faster movement, and there's no way as a rider you're going to be able to time everything and sit back and stay on your balance and do all the right things. So I'm going to give you an easier emergency stop. That's Lovey. I love it. And Joey. This is Lovey. That's Joey. They are best friends, like brother and sister, but Lovey's just being protective and saying, I don't want you in my space right now. Hi, Joji. I'll get Jojo out when we get ready to show you. So the second technique, which is the one I highly recommend, it won't happen unless you're developing your horse the way I'm teaching you. It just won't happen because you have to have all the right things in place. So you've already been preparing, if you've been following these videos and my training method, you've already been preparing your horse for the stop through the level of connection, mindset, especially going slow and building. Going slow and building. I'm also teaching you how to pay attention more. Listen, he's biting my boot and Lovey's saying stop. I love it. How to pay attention more and listen to your horse. That's also part of keeping you safe. It's what I refer to as catching the thought before the action. You're never going to know what your horse is thinking and getting ready to do if you're too busy thinking ahead and not paying attention. So here are the two techniques for the emergency stop. The first is called, as I just said, the emergency bend to the stop. And the second is what I call preparing your horse for the emergency stop. Preparing your horse for the emergency stop, as I just mentioned, has everything to do with creating the right mindset and connection with your horse. Not just mindset, but connection. You're going slow, you're thinking about each other, you're paying attention, and your horse is starting to get really light, super responsive to your light aids. Lovey and I are going to show you the first one, which is the bend to a stop. And like I said, you're going to want to do this at a walk, possibly a trot, but any faster than a slow to a medium trot, and your horse is going to gain too much momentum, power, strength in that bigger movement. Not to mention at that point their adrenaline is kicking in, and they're not going to hear you, they're not going to feel you. And so the bend to the stop could become very dangerous. Most of all, you could lose your balance, fall off, not to mention you could flip your horse. And like I said, I've ridden plenty of bolting horses. I'm not bragging about this at all, but I rode many a bolting horses before I learned what I'm teaching you now and developed this. And I've pulled bits through their mouth, they've run sideways, and it was just horrifying. So in our previous videos, I've set you up for success, as I've mentioned. You've done all your pre-flight, and part of your pre-flight is you've worked on the suppling and the flexion with your horse at a halt. We haven't gotten into how the suppling happens when you're riding, and we're not going to, because this is just for beginner riders. And also for intermediate and advanced, because there's plenty of great tips in here at all levels. But especially at the halt, we learned how to, and I'm going to show you as soon as I turn Lovey around, slide our hands down the rein and pull the rein out and towards our thigh and rest our knuckles on our thigh. So right there, I just did a bend to a stop. So let me show it to you on this side. At the halt, we already went through this video, slide your hand down, wrap your fingers around and pull out, not back, out and towards your thigh and rest your knuckles on your thigh. So I don't need to show you a crazy horse taking off. You're going to do the same techniques, the same tactics with any horse that you feel is escalating. The key thing is you got to pay attention to when they're starting to escalate before it happens. Catch the thought before they commit to the action. That is so key. All right, well, thank you. May you always be one with your horse, and stay tuned for our next video, which is all about the half halt.